Hello everybody, this is Tanya from Tea Talks 93. So November 1st, the day after Halloween, I hope everybody had a great holiday yesterday. I do want to go into another episode of Sister Wives today. So this one is season 19, episode 7. It's called The Labor of Love. So I do want to mention, so last time I did a review last week, I mentioned that Cody no longer was an AUB follower, so he has said that many times on the show. On the couch he said that. And I also wondered, like, when they all left the church, who all left the church, because it seems like Mary went and got the release from Cody, so that would indicate to me that he she still believes, so Mary still believes, right? And then the way Robin talks about the big family and maintaining her religious beliefs, I kind of wonder if she still believes in the faith too. And so Cody has like drugged these women out of their religious beliefs, and that has got to have some friction, right? So I was watching McKelty and Tony doing a review of this episode, and I think it was Tony that said first that Mary and Robin still do hold on to beliefs, especially he knows Robin does because they're pretty good friends, right? And so I thought that was pretty interesting, and they even said kind of the same thing I did, that, you know, if you have these beliefs and the leader, which would have been Cody was the one that would lead the what do you call it, the congregation, their small, like their family church every Sunday, and he stopped doing that. And I think the women wanted to continue that, and if he didn't, and they are leading him out of the church, but they're resistant and they don't want to follow, then the marriages would have like they would have crumbled anyway, right? So if Robin still is a believer, I do think it's just a matter of time before she is going to leave him as well, because if he's not going to go back to the church teachings and she still believes in them, then how can that work? It's very difficult to work in a marriage that two people have different beliefs or lack of beliefs. Anyway, back to the episode, Labor of Love. Starts out, Mary's getting ready to move to Parowan, so she's like, Cody and I are finished, we're divorced, I no longer want to be in Flagstaff, I have no reason to be. And we have seen in the past seasons and episodes that Robin really isn't spending much time with Mary anyway, like for holidays and different things that have come up. She's like, I wasn't invited, I didn't come over, she doesn't call me. She's made different statements like that. So she's like, I don't need to be here, I'm moving to Parowan, that's it. And Cody comes over and helps, I guess Mary's sister, what was her name, Rebecca. Her sister Rebecca comes over, and Cody's best friend is Rebecca's husband, Nathan. So they come over to help Mary. So in order for Cody to see Nathan, he's gonna, you know, suck it up and help Mary move all of her stuff into the trailer so that they can get it moved over to Parowan. And it was noted by multiple people, and even I think McKelty said, you know, because Mary was like, oh, it's not a big deal anymore. She's trying to make it like, you know, we're free. This isn't hurting me anymore because we made a decision, those kinds of things. But she's using a lot of humor. She's laughing like nervously almost. And McKelty said it, and I thought it, that Mary is trying to use humor to like convince others that she's okay, or maybe to convince herself that she's okay, which I don't think she is. It's probably very awkward, and she's probably having a hard time being around Cody. But you can see how, like, I don't want to say jittery, but she's very, like, she avoids eye contact with him a little bit in some of the places. Like, she's like kicking around in the snow and doing some different things to kind of avoid getting too in depth with their conversations, it seems like. But I think she is still having a hard time at this point with the breakup. The group notes that Cody is no longer like he used to be. So before Cody arrives to help Mary, Nathan, Rebecca, and Mary are sitting around on the couch, and they're talking about like old Cody versus new Cody kind of thing. And I think everybody in the realm of sister wives has said Cody is not like he used to be, right? So like when the first season came out, he was happy-go-lucky. He was helping all the wives. He was like making it look like he loved everybody, and he wanted to participate in each family, each of the 4 families. And then now he's like, I don't care about any of them. This is the only person I care about. But then like on the couch, he tells Mary, like, I don't care what she thinks either, right? So which is it? You either care about Robin and what she thinks, or you don't. And all sources that I can see are pointing that he probably doesn't. But you know, Robin's got to come to that conclusion herself. Nobody can really push her to do that. So Mary talks about getting rid of things that are reminders, like items that she used to have held a sentimental value to. She doesn't want them anymore as a reminder, and Cody kind of got upset about 1 or 2 of them, it seemed like, but she's like, I'm getting rid of it. I don't need it. I want to move on. And so she doesn't want anything holding her back. So that's good. And I think that will help her heal, to like get rid of the things that have, especially any bad reminders, but anything that would cause her to hold on to that slightest bit of thread that there would ever be anything that happened at any time with them again, right? Then the next part is Christine and David looking at wedding venues in Moab, Utah. Isabel again, so the last time they were like talking about how close the Christine and David got so fast, and that they have been a lot of public displays of affection, and they were the kids were kind of uncomfortable with it, but they're trying to understand it and kind of work through that. And Isabel says she's really happy for them, but it's just so fast, and she just doesn't really like as much display as they have been showing. But you know, she will learn to be okay with it, I guess, or at least look away. It was kind of interesting that they're not quite engaged. They're not engaged, but they're looking at a venue so that they can lock it down, right? So I guess it takes like several months or a year or whatever to get this venue. So they're wanting to get it ahead of time, which makes sense. Most people wait until they're actually engaged, but this is fine, right? So apparently, you know, a lot of people have said, like, you know, you'd think there'd be a conversation about it or something. They probably have had a conversation behind the scenes. Yes, we're going to get married. Yes, I'm going to ask you to be my wife or whatever, but just not yet. And I have a certain thing that I'm going to do to do that. So it is going to happen. Let's get everything together. So when that happens, then we can start the process of planning and things like that. So that's probably what happened. Christine is on the couch at one point, and I guess the producers must have asked her, like, does Cody know that you're getting married? Does he know where it's going to be? Is he going to be invited? All this kinds of things. And she's like, Cody doesn't tell me about his life. I'm not telling him about my life. He doesn't care to pick up the phone and talk to me. Makes you wonder if he doesn't pick up the phone to talk to Truly or not. I hope he does, but she doesn't mention that. Anyway, so they hear rumors about each other. Cody says, I've heard rumors, but it's really not my business. It's not her business what I do, even though they still have a minor child and they still share all these adult children. So it kind of is a little bit their business, I would think. At least to know, not to give like input, not to say like you shouldn't do that or you can or can't do that, but to say this is what I'm doing just so you know, that kind of thing. So like if the kid is talking to the other parent can support the kid through any kind of questions or concerns or anything they have, right? That is what adults with children are supposed to do, is talk things out and work together. But sometimes we have squabbles and arguments and people not agreeing and not helping each other. So Christine talks about being upset that the AUB actually doesn't. So they all talk about, like, they want you to get married many times. So the first one, the first wife, she gets this big production for her wedding, and everybody gets to come, and it's all the family and all the things that the other Christianity beliefs may participate in. But the second and third wife, they have like a very quiet, secretive, not a lot of people there, may have a little dinner afterwards, so it's not a big production at all. And they don't get to wear the dress, that big white dress, and they don't get to have the dances and all these kinds of things. And then Robin actually got to have that. So I hope, I don't know, but, and she has said that this is the case, and I hope that this is the case, that when she had her wedding with Cody, that she had the other wives in mind and was trying to be respectful and include them into, like, this being a family affair instead of just between the two people, because at the time it was between 5 people. So hopefully that was the case. Robin did say that she didn't want the big lavish wedding, but Cody was the one that really pushed her to do it. So I also wonder, like, did Cody push her to do it because he didn't really like, and he says he didn't like that Christine and Janelle didn't get to have the big pretty wedding, but I wonder if that is really the case, or if he put on the big production with Robin because the TLC producers wanted him to do that. So that's the question I have. They talk about, like, Cody constantly says, I married Christine because she was AUB royalty, and that's why I did it. And she's like, I never cared about that. I never considered myself royalty. There's nothing to be royal about. It's just really stupid. And if you married me for that, you shouldn't have married me. You should have married me because you loved me, or because you wanted me to belong to your family, or whatever reason. But just because you're AUB royalty, that's really stupid. And no wonder it failed if that's the case, right? So then it gets back to Mary and Cody moving, and Rebecca, Mary's like, I don't want this furniture anymore. Cody and I picked it out. What was it, season 3, 4? She and Cody picked out some furniture for her house, and they picked that green and brown stripe thing, which I thought it was fine. But she's like, it reminds me of this whole fiasco of a marriage, and I don't want it anymore. So Rebecca gets it, and she's like, yay, I get some new furniture and I don't have to pay for it. And Cody's like, well, at least there's one woman in my life that's happy, and talking about Rebecca. So and Mary's like, hey, I'm no longer in your life, so it's not me. So I guess maybe him and Robin were having some squabbles, some problems right there at that time. Cody does mention that he and Robin were struggling around that time, and then again, I wondered, is it because, she constantly says, I wanted the whole family, the big family, people there on holidays. I wanted the porch fantasy, right? So then again, I wondered if she is struggling with the fact that he doesn't believe and she does. Like I said, that will cause a lot of friction. So Cody says he feels less pressure being around Mary, and he actually likes her now, and they can be friends and joke around. And Mary says that she doesn't feel like Cody knows her at all. And he's like, what? Of course I know you. But if you really think about it, like, probably maybe the first year or whatever, they probably were getting to know each other. And then he's introducing Janelle and then Christine, and probably they didn't really get to know each other very well before that. So he probably didn't know her as a, in depth, like as a real person. He probably just, very, not deep at all, just very shallow, like, right? Mary doesn't, okay, So there was an awkward conversation on the couch between Mary, Cody, Nathan, and Rebecca. They were talking about struggling between beliefs and divorces. And he talked about, like, I shouldn't have been stuck with 3 wives that he didn't love. And everybody's looking at him like, yeah, you did. We saw it, right? And I think even Rebecca mentioned, like, dude, there was like, how many seasons? 16, at least 16 seasons of him trying to prove to us or tell us that he was in love with all of these women. And then now he's backtracking and saying that that's not the case. So I think it's a load of BS myself. I think he did love them. I say this every episode, I think. He did love them. He's just offended that they left him and that it makes him look bad. So he's trying to make them look bad. That is what it is. It's not that he didn't love them. He just feels injured. His ego is injured. That is what it is. Cody gets emotional about feeling like the big family, and he talks about it as being a ship, and he says we crashed the ship. So him as captain, he crashed the ship. And I was thinking, like, he's always talking about, like, I'm the one left because I couldn't leave. So if he sees himself as the captain of the ship, then, you know, there's that saying that the captain always goes down with his ship. So now that the ship or this family is sinking, he is going down with it. So he's the one holding the bag, is what he thinks. But I think we all know there was a better way to sever ties with the other wives, if that's what he's wanting to do, instead of the way he did it. Goes back to Christine and David in Moab. They're looking at a couple different venues. The first one they look at is not the one they chose, and the second one was, and it was really beautiful. It had the river going around it. It was really beautiful. I could see why they chose that place to get married. Cody talks about the struggle to get to his wedding when he got married to Christine. I guess he was at work and he had to get off work quickly. And then Janelle, I think she was pregnant or she had a new baby, and so he had to be a few hours away from his other 2 wives and the new baby, or the Janelle, she was going to give birth. I can't remember exactly what that was, so you guys can look at that. But he said it wasn't fair to Christine because everything was so rushed, it wasn't personalized, and it was just very stressful for everybody. So I can see that for sure. Like, it would have been nicer to be like, hold up, let's make some arrangements where maybe Christine could have had her family or a few of them go to where Cody is, so it's not so stressful. Or they could have probably done it a different way, but they didn't. Goes back to, so watching McKelty talk about this episode, she says Truly is able to be authentic with David, because somebody asked, does Truly and David really get along, or is that just something that they've, you know, built up in the show, that their relationship is so good? But she said, yeah, the relationship is good. Truly can be herself. David helps her with things. They joke around, and they have a really good relationship, so that's cool. And it goes back to Isabella talking about Christine and Cody. They didn't even really hold hands or anything in public because they didn't want the other wives to be upset. Christine talks about not getting to walk down the aisle and wish she could. She talked about Maddie's wedding and that she felt like she missed the experience. But she said at the time she didn't have any plans on leaving Cody, but she mentioned to him, like, if they got married again, like renewed their vows or something, that maybe she could walk down the aisle, and he seemed receptive to that. As we know, it didn't happen, but that would have been interesting to have that happen for her later. If he wanted to prove that he loved her and that he wanted to be dedicated to the relationship still, he could have done that, and they could have renewed their vows and had this big production for TLC, right? Mary's wedding was big. We talked about that. Christine and Janelle's was small. Robin's was big. Robin wanted to include everybody. Yep, so then Cody was feeling sad still about Christine's wedding, and then he said when they broke up, he questioned his life beliefs. So I don't know if that means like when she left him, if is that when they stopped? Couldn't have been, right? They wouldn't have stopped right then believing in the AUB stuff. It was before that, had to be, because Christine said that she didn't need the divorce. She didn't need to go to the leaders of the church to get the release, because she just said, I'm divorced. We're not actually on paper married, so I'm divorced, and we don't have the AUB beliefs anymore, so I don't have anybody that I have to tell. So she just left. So that's why I was just thinking, like, was that when they stopped? Is that when he stopped believing right then? Christine stopped believing before. So did Christine stop believing because the family was, or at least her relationship with Cody and him with his kids was getting so bad, and then she was seeing Janelle and Mary's relationships getting so bad? Makes you wonder if that's when Christine stopped believing in the faith. So I would like to ask McKelty to see if she knows when that was, and if I find out, I'll let you guys know. Reflecting, yep, they keep reflecting on Maddie's wedding. They show pictures of Maddie's wedding, McKelty's wedding, and Aspen's wedding, and how beautiful and big and elaborate they were, and Christine being excited that each wedding was happening, and she was excited that she was going to get that big wedding that she felt like she missed years ago. So that's really cool. And if nothing else out of the big TLC production wedding, she got to live out her dream. Cody and Mary, yep, still able to joke and no pressure. They talk about how there's no pressure, it's so easy. Christine said Robin made her wedding special for everybody. So even like this late in the game in season 19, Christine's agreeing with Robin that yes, Robin did put forth the effort to make sure everybody was included and felt special on the day that usually is for the two people. But because this is a big family, and there's 4 marriages with 5 different people, then she did a good job including everybody. And Robin again says she didn't want to be insensitive to the others. She felt like, and she feels currently with everybody gone, that she's the idiot that got left behind. And I could understand how that would be. And it's almost like she struggles, like what was the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing for Christine to leave, Janelle to leave, and Mary to leave. And then she hasn't, whatever that her line is for Cody, he hasn't crossed it apparently. So I don't know if that's physical or if that's emotional or what it is, but he has not crossed the line. So she still feels like the marriage is worth continuing, I guess. And then we know who showed up now to Christine's wedding, but she was talking about, somebody asked her, are you going to invite these people or these people? And she said she's going to invite Janelle and her kids, and then Leon. And she's like, I'm not close to Mary. I'm not inviting Mary. And then she's like, I don't want there to be tension or, awkwardness or anything like that between her, my kids, or any of the things. But she loves Leon, and she's like, Leon's welcome. So when Leon did show up, we saw pictures. So. And Christine was just so happy that she felt loved and special by David, and all the things that David was trying to put together to make her feel like his soulmate, and she found somebody that is amazing with her. So McKelty says that they are still going strong. So that was a couple years ago that they got married. They're going strong, they're happy, and they look forward to living a long, happy life together. So hopefully that will be the case. We'll see through the years what happens, and we'll see how long the show goes on. But I kind of would like to at least see, like, from time to time how everybody's doing, wouldn't you? But if anybody's got any thoughts or anything, put it down below. Like, subscribe, all the things. You guys have a good week. I'll see you next one. Thank you.